supplements can be expensive. The role of
Very.
science is to, if you can, allocate some of your resources to get to know yourself on the inside via genetic testing or via, your micronutrient status or whatever.
Yeah.
And then that can lead to probably a more effective strategy of the supplements that you take.
And I like to use the term, so let's talk about supplements, but I like to use the term when I'm working in genomics and talking to a client, because I'm very respectful of their economics, whether they have a lot of money or no money. Where are you, Eddie? Where are you going to get the greatest return on ingestion? So ROI, we think of it investment, return on investment.
ROI, nice.
Where are you going to get the greatest return on ingestion? And this is where Nutrigenomics is brilliant, because we can load your spoon, or if you need to take supplements, we can very strategically load that with food, usually food, but sometimes supplements, where we're targeting multiple genes that have a huge outreach. And I think about it like when you're firing an arrow, if you load an arrow and it hits a target, and it, like, you can kind of hit, a lot of targets, so it throws shrapnel or whatever. I'm trying to think of a better term, but you can see what I mean.
A shotgun.
A shotgun. I know, I was trying to be careful, but a shotgun, you can have a lot of shrapnel, whatever. And this is biochemical shrapnel is very, very useful in the body. So how can we load something when I'm looking at genetics, like, these genes are fit into a bucket of genes that will respond to a certain food or a certain nutrient. So we do that. So it's brilliant when we can look at nutrigenomics. So we get a lot of ROI with very specific foods, and knowing which foods and what we're trying to target is critical. That's number one. But number two, and I see this because I do a lot of work with ADHD or anxiety, depression, things that are starting to impact people across the lifespan. And I have to tell you that, and I'm forever working with clinicians saying, if you're going to use supplements, the body is hypersensitive. They are as potent as pharmaceuticals. And so you have B complexes that are loaded with B6 or B12. I said, you load that with a person whose genetics you don't know, they can have a mental health day. Or you use a supplement and you don't know how it's working genetics, you're giving somebody the equivalent of drugs. And I don't say that lightly, because I see it. And I see people lovingly drink green tea, like gallons, because it's good for you. But if you have certain genes, that can give somebody insomnia and hyper anxiety. And like, well, this is good for me. I'm like, it's not at those levels great for your genes. It's not a cuddle. It's not a good relationship. And so genetics allows us to weed that out, to say, this is what you need to optimize you, but usually it's in tiny doses. And I think that's probably what I've learned the most, is tiny doses. Even if somebody is inefficient or deficient in something like B6 or B12, they need, first of all, they need to access it from food, because then it's in its natural food matrix. That's what the body knows. When we isolate things, they're not in their natural matrix. They're not consistent with nature. They're not reflecting nature. And the body's like, what do I do with that? It could be perceived as toxic. And it is for some people. So these supplements are active. They're not benign information.